Hi, this is Neil with neilsvideos.com. In February 2018, I went to the Live event in Chicago. Live is a new company that's in pre-launch right now, and it's about having special Live events. And these could be local events or nationwide or even worldwide events. Let me show you what we did in Chicago, then I'll tell you more about it. The event started in the hotel where they brought in the Second City improv group, and they brought about 5 or 6 people, and they actually did an improv workshop with us where we actually got to participate and learn some of the techniques used in the famous Second City improv workshop. Then on Friday night, we actually went to Second City where we had a floor reserved, and they had Chicago deep style pizza and other a taste of Chicago foods for us. And then we attended, it was about an hour and a half improv show there at Second City. And this is where many of the famous people, like from Saturday Night Live, got their starts. The next day, we met in the hotel and had about 5 or 6 hours of training with the founders of the company and some of the top leaders to tell us how the new Live coins are going to roll out and when. And one of the things they do is called Live to Give. And here there's a little girl who's been battling cancer. And they brought in Mickey Mouse, quote unquote, all the way from Florida, right? And they gave her a ticket to Disneyland. And I forget what else they gave her, but there was hardly a dry eye in the room at that time. So Live to Give is always a major part of what we do at any Live event. Then that evening, we went to the Willis Tower, which is formerly called the Sears Tower. They had the whole floor reserved for us again. There were maybe about 100 of us there, all kinds of foods and appetizers and drinks and things like that. And then we went up to the sky deck, and you can see my picture standing there. It's like a little plexiglass cubicle room hanging out over the 100-story building, or however many floors it was. And then we had the nightlife. They took us to a club. And by the way, they gave us lift tickets. So every day we just entered a code into our smartphones, and then we could call a lift cab or lift driver, and they would come take us to the next event. So that was pretty cool. And on that night, I had a lift driver dressed up like Batman. So I thought that was a really neat experience to have. On Sunday morning, we went to the Bean, which is at Millennial Park. We had some group pictures and shots. Then we went to the Art Institute. We had some champagne mimosas there, special for us. And then we got to tour the museum with both guides and individually. And you can see here some famous paintings that I've only seen in books, and there they are hanging on the walls. This is Seurat, a painting on pointillism. And this is, of course, a Rembrandt that I was impressed they had. It's one of the best museums in the world from what they say. This is a Jackson Pollock and our tour guide. Then here we made a remake of from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And then this is a guy buddied up with Andy. He's from Canada, single father. And here he is with the farmer, the famous farmer painting. Whenever they can, they tie these events into things that are going on in the real world. So it happened to be Super Bowl Sunday. So we went to Dave and Buster's, the famous, they have pool tables and games and stuff like that. And this is another part of our Live to Give. We basically sort of like sponsored in a way a independent football league. It has both boys and girls playing, and they needed a new goalpost for their stadium. Or for their games, and Live bought that for them, and we and other people part of Live bought various supplies and things these people needed for their games. And so they actually brought in all the kids, and they gave them free tickets to play all the games, and then they had a couple big screens where we could watch the Super Bowl and stuff, and basically that completed our weekend in Chicago. Now, Live has tons of other features. There's some of them listed here on the screen. One of the exciting ones is starting April of this year, we're actually launching. We're still in pre-launch right now. So April 2018 is the launch. Then we're going to have local Live events. And this could be like a local beach volleyball game, a golf tournament. You could have one of those bring your own booze and paint classes locally or something like that. Or if you're an expert, you could even give a city tour of your own city, just a little 2-hour walking tour or something like that. And at that point, we'll be bringing in more massive customers, whereas right now we're just looking for business builders primarily. And I have other videos that will explain that in a lot more detail. So there'll be a link below this video where you can learn more about Live. One more thing, just real quick, is the concept of the Live list. You see at the top here. A Live list is a lot of people basically have had bucket lists, and Nick Sarnicola, one of the owners of the company, he basically said we need to quit having a bucket list, things we do before we die, and we need to do them now while we're young and while we can do them and while we can enjoy them. So those of us that are in Live, we're making our own Live list, things and places we want to go. And then we can go to the website and we can see what Live events are coming up, and we could even suggest that they have new Live events. And all that will be explained in the videos if you just click the link below the video. And, I would look forward to working with you and sponsoring you in Live. And it's a great company. It's going to go big places. The owners of the company have looked at over 100 different things that they could sell, and they decided this Live membership is the one thing that's really taking off in the next 10 years. So check it out. Watch the videos that are in the link below, and I will talk to you probably on another video. See you later. This is Neil, neilsvideos.com.